It has begun!
Okay, kids, you ready to get blowed up? Okay, so there's been word going around about a debt forgiveness program to be unleashed by the United States government in conjunction with the banks. Concurrently, it's been said that in order to have your debts forgiven, you must relinquish property rights. And so further, the deal is the government and the banks are going to say, hey, you know what? If you relinquish your property rights, we'll forgive all your debts and set you up with $2,000 a month for however long. And it turns out a lot of people are very fervently against this. But let's go ahead and break this down. Property, of course, that they're discussing is not your cell phone, not your socks, okay? Property is anything with a deed. Land, buildings, automobiles. The people that get upset about this rant and rave about, they're not taking my property. I'm not giving up my property rights for free money. They can't make me. These, of course, are the likely crowd. The same people that insist the government is afraid of them because they own their firearms. The people that assert the government will take my guns when they pry them from my cold, dead hands. Those people. The same people who insist they're going to be heroes and thrive during and after full-blown collapse. But let's get back to the topic at hand. Relinquishing your property rights for money. Well, obviously the money's not free, but that's not the point here. The point is property rights. So the individuals that rail against this, yeah, you know who you are. You know I'm talking to you. You don't fucking own property. You pay on a car loan or lease and then turn it over before the term is up. You pay a mortgage on a house. You pay a mortgage on a condo. You lease an apartment. You own no property. And anyone you're making payments to can relinquish that property from you at any time because they own it and you don't. In fact, chances are you will go your whole life and never own any piece of property outright. In fact, most of you don't want to own property outright. This is why you live in places like apartments and drive cars on a lease. Because under those terms, you are renting from someone, subsequently putting the onus of responsibility and maintenance of the property on someone else. And this is why you never will own property, because you do not have the first inkling or will to continually, constantly manage all the minutia that comes with actually owning property. So when the government comes comes a knocking, and they say, hey, we're going to strip you of all your property rights so that you can have free money. And they explain to you that we're going to take care of the property and manage everything, and we're going to pay you to let us do it. You will jump for it. You will jump faster than a frog leaving a hot plate. Allow me to reiterate, if you are paying a mortgage, if you are paying a car loan, if you are paying a lease of any kind, you do not own that property. You do not own that property until the contract is fulfilled. Anytime prior to fulfillment, the bank owns the property. They're just letting you use it. Furthermore, people who actually have property to give up aren't going to, because they have enough cash flow to maintain the property, and they also have the will, the wit, the know-how, the energy, the drive to properly manage all the minutia of the property. So in short, when they say, relinquish your property rights, we'll forgive your debt and pay you money, you're not losing anything. You are literally gaining. Because you will go your whole life either, one, never being able to financially own property outright, or two, never having the will to actually manage your own property. The banks are literally saying, hey, you know what? We're tired of fucking around with you assholes, constantly trying to get our money out of you for the property we're letting you use, and worrying about what damage you're going to do to the property before it comes back into our hands completely. So you know what? We're going to pay you to let us take care of everything and make all the decisions for that property, because we'll make more money paying you to leave shit alone than we're making now. So quit posturing, you bunch of faggots. None of you own property outright. Most of you never will. And by the time you're old enough to actually own something outright, you're going to be too old and weary and worn the fuck out to want to deal with the responsibility of owning property. You are being given a very gracious gift here of debt forgiveness and not having to worry about owning or attempting to own property. And they're paying you to fucking step out of the bullshit. Thanks for listening to this rant. Have a good evening.
Is it over?